Really, it's thanks to Richard Sharp and Cindy Copsey. What happened was there was originally a meeting someone had set up to form a purchasing consortium. There was a lot of bad press about the internet, and there was really no voice of response. So at the end of that purchasing consortium meeting, we kind of raised the question that we needed some way of coming back. So we ended up, myself, Richard, Cindy, and a guy called Gary Schoenberg, all meeting in a coffee shop in Tunbridge Wells, in the Pantiles, and spent about half an hour passing the book as to who wanted to be chairman, or rather who didn't want to be chairman. And somehow I got the poison chalice at the end of it. But really, Richard Sharp and Cindy Copsey, they were the driving forces behind starting ISPA. You've got to bear in mind, in 1995, only about 1% of the country was using the internet. It was mainly in academia, and quite often we were seeing articles in the press that were clearly written by people who'd never seen the internet, never considered what it was going to do. So what we wanted to do, first and foremost, was give consumer confidence. We set out very quickly to set out a code of conduct for ISPA members, and to gradually turn the press around to try and create a stable environment for investment. It's quite easy in hindsight to forget the risks that all those entrepreneurs in the early years took with their energy, with their capital, getting into this new technology that nobody really knew what was going to happen with it. And so we wanted to try and get the industry to grow up a bit and to show everybody that this was going to change the UK economy. I always remember meeting the guy who was then, he described himself as the minister for dogs, drugs and porn was his portfolio. I don't know what his actual title was. And actually the year before, he'd had some disgruntled constituent asking for the internet to be banned in the UK. And it was genuinely a question raised in the House, believe it or not. Thankfully, through the work of Nick Landsman and others, we got round to change the press story first, but also gradually explaining to MPs and lords what the internet was in a very basic way, and why it was going to be such a big deal and why they should support it. There was also, you've got to appreciate, the elephant in the room was British Telecom, which still effectively was a monopoly. And we had to try and create an environment where people could invest with confidence in starting an internet business or an internet-related business with open competition, basically. And we took some very bold steps, almost naively, I think, in the early days. We were the first country and the first organization to voluntarily remove paedophilia from the internet. And whilst that seems a very logical and sensible thing to do, it actually caused no end of vitriol from various parts of the wider internet community, shall we say, who perhaps thought no rule. There should be no rules. There should be no laws. The internet was unique, and regulation just shouldn't exist. Of course, the more sage advisors in the industry knew that actually, if we were going to survive, we had to be sensible, and we had to work with government and the authorities to control the worst parts of the internet, or at least attempt to. Well, certainly in the early years, there was an enormous growth in the number of vendors, of ISPs. I take my hat off to all those entrepreneurs who, I'd say, risk their capital, their energy to start those businesses. After my time, clearly, broadband coming in changed the game. Streaming services, mobile data. I think it's a testament to all those early innovators to where we are now, where 40% of the population is working from home. The internet is a utility that is an absolute requirement now. And I think, again, in hindsight, it's easy to forget the energy and the pain and the risks that people like Matthew Hare and Peter Dorr and Richard Sharp and all of the others, the hundreds of people I could name, who have made that happen. What I'm particularly proud of are, being a northerner and growing up in the northeast of England in the 1970s when the shipyards were closed. What if I have any element of pride in the internet industry? It's in the jobs that have been created and the businesses that surround that backbone of internet infrastructure. I think all of those early ISPA members should be proud of what they've done for the UK economy. In the early days, self-regulation, I think, was providing a vehicle where we could stop any ill-informed draconian regulation being imposed. But again, I come back to, I think what ISPA has done successfully is provide a voice for the industry across the range, from small businesses to the very large providers. It's always been a forum for open debate and equal debate. And through that, I think we haven't had, kind of draconian regulations imposed that might have stifled the growth of the industry. So I think ISPA's greatest success is the investment environment it's provided for all those businesses, either directly involved in providing internet services or in providing solutions that rely on the internet. That to me, again, the UK economy, its contribution to the UK economy shouldn't be underestimated.